so willing and able and wanting to share her knowledge. We were just all in the green room. So Black Hexagon and I work together often, every day, all the time. And one of the things I was about to talk to her about that I couldn't remember, we were talking about something that we're working on, and I mentioned this last stream that I had done with Jessa. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm hearing my echo. Anyways, so basically she had said, "Hey, let's, what can't ChatGPT do this?" And I was like, "Yes, and I know someone who knows exactly how to do it." So, I thought it would be really fun for both Black Hexagon and I to come on this show together with Jessa and learn as you all learn with us, because there is so much application that I never even, if you saw this last episode, when Jessa was on, it really was mind-blowing to learn about the different ways that she uses ChatGPT and has formulated it in such a brilliant way that, it's become like a butler. And she'll go into exactly how she utilizes the butler in what she's doing. But before we go any further, because I have every time I get on RG's ass about this, so I have to do it myself. We're going to do a little housekeeping, ladies and gentlemen. So first up, Houston, Texas, February 17th, Saturday, February 17th, Houston, Texas. We are going to be there. It's going to be a real estate meets crypto seminar. Full day event. We have several speakers lined up, and including Corey Geary, David Moondog, leader, as well as the singer DM, who you can find on the Twitter. Real cool dude. The singer is also, if you are interested and you're in the area and you want to come hang out and do our VIP session, he is going to be hosting our VIP session the next day on the 18th. So that is going to be a day full of fun and wonderment, and you get to hang out with me and RG and Black Hexagon. We the best. We're the dream team. We really are. So that's going to be great. Let's see. We have got 2 big deadlines coming up tomorrow at midnight. If you are a developer and you are interested in developing on the Pulse chain, you need to put in your application. Go to pulsechaintour.com / what?
I was muted. / pitch fest.
There you go. In fact, I'll even bring that up right and see. The homie takes it over. / pitch fest. I got it right here. And the deadline for that is tomorrow at midnight. So how many entries do we have so far?
Yes. So we have about 6 entries right now. So that is enough to fill our pitch fest, because we will accept 6 different pitches. I am extremely impressed with some of the ones that I've read already. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't still shoot your shot. I mean, the more competitive this is, the better it is for the ecosystem. So, get those applications in. Love to read them. And yeah.
Awesome. And big announcement. Man, there's so much going on right now. So we actually now have hold on. Let me try this and find out if I answer my own question. We don't have our own name for the YouTube channel yet, right? Because of the
it's at Pulse Chain Tour Live. You
the
have
live.
to have the little at. Yeah.
Got you. And that. So we've got our own YouTube channel now for the Pulse Chain Tour. There is actually a video there that I made. Yay, I'm doing things. So check that out. The video is for the Las Vegas event. And the other deadline I wanted to talk about is that in 3 days, the deadline to book your hotel room with our hotel room block ends. So if you want to still get in, you want to make sure that you're hanging with everyone in the same hotel wing, definitely do that. The discount goes away on the 2nd. We might be able to get that extended, but maybe not. So do it now.
Yeah.
And then lastly, and this ties into our subject and our guest and what we're up to, NFTs, y'all. So I have shied away and stayed away from talking about them for a very long time, as have many people in our ecosystem. A lot of that has to do with Richard and his opinion on them. And with I want y'all to keep in mind the caveat that Richard did say that he was probably going to make his own Hex Diamond NFT at some point. You know what I mean? And on top of that, I believe that really what he's referring to is just the JPEG loosely tied contract kind of thing, right? There, we all know now that Hedron is an NFT, right? There are so many different utilities for the NFT type contract, but we're using it as a loyalty program for the Pulse Chain Tour. So that is something that's really cool. We are actually going to retro. I want to say retrograde, but that's not.
Um,
Mercury's
yeah,
in retrograde.
you like your big words, but basically what we're doing is our NFT project for the Pulse Chain Tour. We kind of see it as a loyalty rewards program where this is like a way on the blockchain to show or to remember all the different events that you've shared with us. And so for every general admission, VIP, whatever kind of ticket you bought to come and attend one of our events, there is a NFT associated. Originally, this was a new idea, so we were just going to start fresh in 2024. But the community spoke to us and they said, hey, I attended some events last year. Are you going to make NFTs for those events? And we said, absolutely. SJ is a new up and coming genius in this AI development of NFTs. And so she's going to be creating NFTs for every event that we did last year. And if you came to one of those, you can just come to our website and you can go to pulsechaintour.com/NFTs. And then there's like a subcategory that says claim. And you can fill out that little form that says, hey, I came to Dublin and I'd like to receive my NFT for that event. So that is
Look
something
at
that
that.
is well within the works. So yeah, if you hover over the NFT button, SJ at the top,
This right here.
uh-huh. So then down it says claim or redeem. Yep, click on that. That takes you to this claim
Ooh,
page and you just fill out this form. Like go ahead and go to that drop down for which event did you attend. Whatever events are available to be able to claim, you can go ahead and select that and
cool.
then send us your address and we will make sure you receive that.
Very cool. Yeah, and that's there's the list is short right now because as much as I want to just slang these NFTs out, I actually am taking a lot of time and energy to make each one really unique and awesome. I'm really excited because I have just recently learned about some new tools that have taken the game up a notch. So I think every few cities, you're probably going to see a little bit of an increase in skill and what the NFT does. And I also want to try and, as I go along learning this process and making the NFTs more and more badass as we go, maybe update or somehow add some kind of metadata to the ones that I came out with first, which are still just as awesome, but also, I know things are just going to keep getting better from here. So
Yep.
super cool.
And SJ, while you're here,
Oh,
I was gonna say, I wanted the people to be able to see that our website now is equipped to be able to mint the NFTs there. If you don't have one,
ooh,
we did a special collaboration. Yeah, you can go to that page. It takes a little second to load because they are NFTs, but you can connect right there with your MetaMask or Wallet Connect, and then you can actually mint NFTs right there on our website now. Down at the very bottom is the Tang Gang one that we did. Yep, right there. So it does take a little second to load, depending on how many tabs you have open and all that. We learned that on the Free Mint Friday, didn't we? How
Oh
these
my goodness, you guys. What an adventure Free Mint Friday is. And it's I am kind of sad because I feel like I almost will never ever be able to get one of these NFTs on a Free Mint Friday because Elon. I have Starlink. So it's like, how are you gonna get yourself an NFT when it has to go all the way to outer space and back? There ain't no Ethernet over here, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways, let's take a gander. Let's take a look. Ooh, would you look at that? Look at that little window. I think the H Town one is one of my favorites so far that I've done. It's really simple, but I love the energy. It's just like, bah!
Yeah, I wish the view, and it's a default setting that when you deploy the NFT, this is how the embed code allows you to view it.
Got you.
But I wish that they could see the full length of the NFT right here on the site because it really is like really nice when you can see that full image. And once you purchase it and it's in your wallet, then of course you'll be able, to view it in its full glory. But yeah, SJ's done some amazing work here. I mean, just the fact, I don't even think you guys realize how difficult it was to take this very pulsy NFT and then convert it into a gold version
Goal.
of that
Yes.
same NFT. But she did it and she did it, really, really well. So that we don't charge a lot for these NFTs. They come with special benefits as you collect them. So if you want to support the tour, everything that we bring in for these tour pieces, they do help us to be able to put on bigger and better events in every city.
Yeah. And I see DJ Bomber saying, what's up to the chat real quick, by the way, everybody. Hello. Hello. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming by. Alan got Jessa in her chat. IVersusAI is her handle. And all of her links are in the description. We'll bring her up in just a moment here. Got DJ Bomber, Chaztown, RP Cubed, and Georgia Carrera. So awesome to have you on Saturday. Georgia opened up our seminar. She was our first speaker. Very cool. Speaking of speakers, we got the pirate himself in the house, ladies and gentlemen. RG3. What up, pirate man? And Axis Alive, again, speaking of speakers, Axis will be speaking, just recently confirmed, at our Las Vegas event. So make sure, again, that you get tickets to that. Very cool. And then this is what I wanted to address. It is free. There are every Free Mint Friday. Whoever, well, I guess maybe it depends on the qualifications. I can see how you would say that, but there are definitely mints where the qualifications are like almost nothing, right? Like I know we did one. Was it how much HOA?
Well, like the talk one, they had one. They had it
Yeah,
set on one
one
HOA, which
HOA.
is essentially, nothing, like 5 cents or something. I don't know what their price is right now. Of course, you have to pay the gas, but that's why we're on Pulse Chain, right?
Hmm.
Because our gas is insignificant in comparison to Ethereum for
Yeah,
sure.
and also, Free Mint Friday in the Tang Gang, yes, they're going to want you to hold HOA. There are all free mints all over by other artists if you look for them. If you know where to look, you're learning more about these different projects and programs and things like that. There are definitely other places that you can go to get a free mint. So yes, I understand. I get your point, but either way, it's like you don't have to do too much in order to get and support, these NFT artists.
Yeah.
Well, anyways,
Maybe we'll
anything
call
about
our next mint space almost free Friday.
almost free. Yeah.
Very low cost
And here's the
mint.
thing. Another thing I want to say about that is that is the least I feel like as the artist, that's the least I could do to thank the people hosting that space because those minted out in seconds in terms of the
Yeah,
free mint. And then we got, purchases of these NFTs from people probably outside of our ecosystem, at least outside of the project, people that may have never even heard about me or Pulse Chain Tour before.
yeah,
I'm sure that at least several of those mints were from people who had just been in the Tang Gang, saw the art, thought it's cool. You know what I mean? So for me, that was worth trading that off, right? That was a very equal, a very decent trade. Yeah, trade-off was fair in my opinion in terms of that. So that's what I'm saying. All right. Okay. So now, drum roll, please. Someday I'll have sound effects like Trayvon. Did you ever watch
Right?
Trayvon?
Yes, he has the best soundboard.
Yes, he
'Cause
does.
he does, like,
Especially
all custom, like, from popular memes and stuff. I love his soundboard. It's
yes,
great.
Maddie Allen saying it. We're live.
He does.
All right. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Jessa, welcome to the stage. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here, despite
Thanks,
not
SJ.
feeling top of the world right now.
No, I have got a terrible flu. I have a terrible flu. I just told my husband I sound like a man. Like my name should be like Dan or somebody. It's not pretty. Yeah. But I am here. Hi, everybody.
Yay.
And we certainly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I would love, since we kind of started with our shills, I would love for you to go ahead and instead of waiting until the end, I want you to talk about, what it is that you do, how we can support you, bring up the event, the Imagine AI and Femularity. Let's get into that first off, because I really want, anyone who's, if it's they don't, watching the replay and you don't want to watch till the end, like let's get all the juicy stuff in terms of, how we can support you and what the big projects you're working on right now are. I'd love to have you talk about that.
Well, I am here really to also share my main thing is wanting to share the cool things that I'm doing with ChatGPT and find other people who are doing cool things with ChatGPT. So that's really what I'm here for. And that that desire to share what I was doing led to the different things that I'm doing right now. One is IVersusAI. There is a new video coming up on that. If you go to the channel now, you'll see it's been down for 2 months, and I have a good reason for that. And that's because I've been building this in the background, and the other thing I'm about to show you. Yeah, today I'm gonna share with you how I used ChatGPT to help me make a business decision. That was a really hard decision to make, actually, and how I walked through that process because I am fairly new at this, owning a actual business from the standpoint I've been self-employed, but more like freelancing self-employed as opposed to like having to make business decisions. In this case, I needed to decide where I was going to spend my advertising dollars and how to make that decision, even reviewing contracts, stuff like that. So I'm going to talk about that. But my desire to talk about ChatGPT is what led me to my first venture, which is I'm going to do the old screen share again.
Yep.
And I'm going to go to allow, and I hope that you guys will be able to see that I'm sharing my screen. Let me know if it's coming through.
I see it. I see all of us. There we go.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm going to change out to a different screen here.
There we go.
This is Femularity. It is a mastermind community for visionary women who love AI. And this website and whole process, which I talked about last time, the reason why I started this website, why I started this community, which begins February 15th is the opening date. So right now, the wait list is open. But this website and this whole process came to me through a mutual friend. SJ and I have a friend, Morgan. Hi, Morgan. If you ever see this, Morgan Victoria, who said, on December 30th, she said, you should start a women's community, women's elite in AI. And I thought, interesting. So on January 4th, we started working on it together. And what I mean by that is that she would come and sit with me in a Google Meet and helped me just watch what I was doing, just gave me moral support. It was really my first experience with co-working, or in this case, really a mastermind. A mastermind, if you're curious as to what that means, it does not mean an evil lair of geniuses, a bunch of women plotting the downfall. It doesn't mean that. A mastermind is a peer group of peers who come together to help each other succeed. So that's all it is. It's from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, way back in the 40s.
Great book.
Wonderful book. And masterminds are basically that. It's just peers coming together to help each other succeed and challenge each other, set goals, because we found as humans that for many of us, even introverts like myself, we do a lot better when we're together. Basically, we just do a lot better. So the group is basically a monthly mastermind. It's a community. It's a Discord, and our Discord. So this website that you're looking at, and the Discord and the Patreon page, with the help of Morgan, she sat with me for most of the nights, not all of them. I completed it in 9 days from start to finish using ChatGPT, Midjourney, 11 Labs, which is a voice. If you guys haven't heard of 11 Labs yet, I'll show you about that. Whisper API, which is just a OpenAI speech text. So using AI, I was able to pull off something that I never would have been able to do this in that short period of time. This is the last page here. And everything that you see on the site, all of the images on the site, even the logo here, was done using AI. And so that's it's a mastermind community for visionary women who love AI, built with AI. And it opens up February 15th. So that's the first thing I've been doing. IVersusAI, I'm still running that. I still share what I'm learning right now. The video that's coming up next is the Noob's Guide to Connecting Your GPT to an API. So the Noob's Guide to APIs with, for noobs, basically. So that means that I am a noob myself, and I use ChatGPT to teach me how APIs work, teach me how to connect a GPT using the new action feature to connect a GPT to an API. And just anyone let me know if you understand what I'm talking about, because some of you might be sitting there and saying, what the
I was just going to say, as a noob, yes, what is API? Like, what does that even stand for?
It stands for Application Programming Interface. An API basically just means, how your GPTs, the new GPTs, they can connect to the outside world, like to Zapier or to your calendar. And so GPTs are basically, well, first of all, let's just start with GPTs. How about that? So I'm going to open up, so these are GPTs over here. And you can see these really fun GPTs. Canva, for example, is a great one, or Video GPT. These are connected to external websites, other places. This Kayak one, for example, would allow you to do your travel planning. And when you ask it questions, it can connect to its entire Kayak database of flights and bring you back real-time flight information. Things like that. So when you go over here to a GPT, and I'm going to just pick the awesome example I love to use, which is CatFax GPT. Actually, you know what? I'll choose one that's even better. I'll choose Project Gutenberg.
Real quick, Jessa, before you go on, let me ask you something, and then this might we might either change course a little bit, or you probably might just continue the way you're going. So part of how I met Morgan, and let me just ask the question: do you use my tutor? I've heard of it.
Yes.
Okay.
I do not use it, but I've heard of it.
The same guys that use Pixio. Okay, because that's what I'm currently using. So I know that they have all, from what I understand, is I'm supposed to have all the capability of ChatGPT for everything in there. So for me, this interface is a little bit different, but I'm sure that like as you go through and explain this, I will be able to translate it into the tool that I'm using, because it's like I think it's the same tool but a different interface basically. So that answered my
Well,
question. Continue.
okay. So so most of you guys who use ChatGPT, give me a hand raise in the chat if you guys are familiar at all with GPTs. I mean, if you're using ChatGPT Plus, you've seen this GPT action over here. And so I won't spend too much time on this, but basically what I wanted to show you guys is the next video that's coming up on IVersusAI, which is that I taught myself how, well, I should say I taught myself, ChatGPT taught me how to connect a GPT, in this case to Project Gutenberg. And I'm just going to go over to, let me go back again up here to Edit GPT. And I'm just going to go over here. I'm just going to scroll down, and you see down here, it says create new action. This gobbledygook that you see here, I understand what this means now. And the video that I recorded that's going up on the channel next is a very simple guide to teach you how to create actions, because that's really where the power of GPTs are, is that it allows you to connect to your own calendar, create an assistant, connect to Notion, for example. You have a great conversation with the GPT. You're talking to ChatGPT and you're like, I'd really like to save this conversation in my Notion to refer to later on, a summary of this conversation. You can connect your GPT to Notion using an API. An API just means nothing more than a way, it's how the internet talks to each other. And in fact, we're using an API right now. This YouTube video right here, in order for us to connect, when you go into YouTube and you find your YouTube video in the background, what's bringing that YouTube video to you, or when you go to your front page and you see all those different videos, that working behind the scene is an API. It basically is what connects the databases of the internet together. That's all it is.
Okay.
And the video basically will teach us how to do that with the analogy of going shopping. So that's it. That's basically what I'm doing over on IVersusAI. That's coming out when I get better, basically. It's already recorded. And that's really what I'm doing. I'm also prepping for Imagine AI Live.
Yes.
Which is in March. And I am in the speaker lineup for that. I'm going down. I'll be in Las Vegas that entire week. And right now we're doing admin stuff behind. I'm on the founders team for that. So I work with the CEO.
Year?
This is the first year. This is the inaugural year of Imagine AI Live. Yep.
Awesome.
And I have a strong feeling. If you guys are in the gaming scene, I'm going to turn off, there we go. So if you're in the gaming scene, you have probably, and some of these faces that you're seeing, like Bendu's, she's a regular on Twitter in the AI space. But there's a lot of great names coming in here for this, that are people that are coming from around the world to speak at this conference. And if you're in the gaming space, you may have heard of PAX West, PAX East, PAX South. I have a feeling that this conference is going to be as big as that. That's my logo for my channel. And there's just a lot of names coming in for this, but I have a feeling this is going to be as big as PAX West. Steve is putting a great deal of work into this. And I also love that this is going to be at Fontainebleau, which is, I may be saying it, Fontainebleau. Anyway, it's in Las Vegas. It's a big, fancy hotel in Las Vegas, basically.
Excellent.
So, yep, there's the CEO, Steve Metcalf, and he's a great guy. So I'm really happy to be on the founders team for that. So that's basically what I'm up to.
Fantastic. And I will be joining you at Imagine Alive 24. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah. And I'm hoping Morgan can join us too.
Yeah, me too. That would be a lot of fun.
But it's gonna and also just today was announced that there's going to be a generative AI art and music one-day festival afterwards by separate people, but they're partnering up with Steve
Okay.
at Imagine AI Live. So on Friday, there's going to be in Las Vegas, I don't know exactly where yet, there's going to be an art and movie event festival. Basically a party. A generative AI party. So
I like those.
I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway,
Excellent. Yeah, hopefully by then my bus is back up and running. I
I
plan
hope
to
so
send a
too.
bus out there, yeah, for sure. So I wanted to just real quick, because there's just so much I know that you have in terms of like your knowledge and what you do. And I wanted for us to just kind of, as Kaylin and I are a team, Black Hexagon Kaylin, I did it. Whoops. Um, we work mostly on this tour that is going around the world right now to teach people about this cryptocurrency called Hex and Pulse Chain. And what a lot of our one of the things that that you had said, in fact, I think it was on our last stream, was that you mentioned how instead of asking ChatGPT to write you a tweet, you said, give me a statement, right? Like a factual statement.
Yeah, never use the word tweet or Twitter when asking ChatGPT to write you tweets for Twitter.
So funny story. So I just recently I was with it a little bit, and I, even though I used the words factual statement, it gave I said I want factual statements in 280 characters or less. It gave me hashtags. It just
It did.
auto assumed.
It auto assumed that because you asked for 280 characters, yeah,
That's
which is
so
nothing wrong with that.
funny.
It knows well, they say the AI is getting smarter.
Yeah.
And
Such a trip.
that my trick that worked 6 months ago may not work anymore. But basically, when you ask for, say, a list of YouTube titles or a tweet, ChatGPT is going to take an amalgamation of its training. It's going to mash all of its training together and give you. This is why when you ask ChatGPT to write you stuff, you get very generic responses. And if you work with ChatGPT on a regular basis, like I do, I can smell ChatGPT writing a mile off. Sometimes
Mhm.
I'm sure I'm wrong, but for the most part, there's a very, it likes to use words. Like if you ask it for marketing copy, I'll put down $20 that it's going to use the word transform within the first, sentence and a half.
Interesting.
For some reason, I don't know why, it just loves that word. Because it is taking all of the internet and mashing it out and giving you the median or the middle or the generic response, basically. So it was trained on tweets, but we don't know its training data. Its training data could have started in 2009 or 2000 or what. We don't know how old it is. But I suspect that it was trained on a bunch of tweets that back when Twitter was full of hashtags and emojis. It's evolved. People's writing on Twitter has evolved. So if you want to, if you ask ChatGPT to give you a tweet about, it's going to shove it full of emojis and hashtags.
Mhm.
If you ask it to give you a YouTube title, it's going to give you a title, particularly if you're working with GPT-3. It's going to give you, and that's the free version of ChatGPT. If you're working with GPT-4, that's the plus version. It's a little bit it's a bit smarter, quite a bit smarter. But in general, it's going to give you a mashed up amalgamation of the last how many ever years of it has in its training data, and give you a very generic YouTube video title,
Mhm.
one that would never work on YouTube. And for some reason, whenever you ask it for a title, it's it is. I have a very difficult time getting it not to include not to include a colon. And in fact,
Yeah.
I'd love to find the first person who can get ChatGPT to write a YouTube title. Just go over to ChatGPT and ask it, say, give me 10 awesome YouTube titles about why Dalmatians are the best dogs in the whole world. I'm doing a YouTube video for that, and it will just lay out a bunch of colons because it just book titles as well too.
Huh.
And so that's basically, you were telling me about that tweet trick there. But that was one of the things that I've learned is to describe the thing without naming the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And otherwise you'll get a very generic version of the thing
Yep.
as well too. But the type of stuff that I'm using ChatGPT for now is, I was gonna say, but it sounds really cocky. Like I was gonna say high level stuff, but for me it
No, it
feels high
is.
level.
It definitely is.
Because I'm struggling right now with some big high level questions is what I mean. For me,
Mhm.
they feel high level. For someone else who is been an entrepreneur for a long time, this is no problem. For me, I'm like, these are questions that leave me sitting up in the bed like, should I make this choice? Should I make this choice? So one of those examples was, I'm going to just pull up, as always, share the screen again, because so ChatGPT, a lot of people are using ChatGPT to do some pretty cool things. I'm going to jump over to here, and we'll just go over here to the blank old ChatGPT here. And so they even give you some great examples here of create a personal web page, write a message. These are great things. But I'm asking ChatGPT stuff like, first of all, I don't know if I told you about this last time, but the way that I use ChatGPT nowadays is I rarely type to it.
Yeah, you
When you
use
see,
speak
I
to.
use this. I
Yeah.
speak to it, and I use talk to ChatGPT. And the reason why I love this extension so much, which I highly recommend, is because it allows me, I've learned that by starting out with ChatGPT in a conversational way, as if you are working with a team member, just gets much better responses. I wasn't even trying that to get a better response. I just noticed that when I would type in, when you're typing, first of all, at least I don't know, especially on a mobile phone, you're gonna want to get those words in as the least amount possible, because it's a pain in the butt to type on a phone, and it's a pain in the butt even to type on a keyboard. But to talk, at least for me, as you can tell, I don't mind talking. I can talk. So when you talk, just as humans, I think we tend to speak as if we're giving, a project. We're starting a project with a coworker. So I'll start out by saying, okay, I want to make a table to help me decide what newsletter I should post in an advertisement. And you can see that my block of text looks pretty unreadable. There's no punctuation, nothing like that. It also taught me that ChatGPT, it does not need you to spell correctly. It doesn't need punctuation. Oftentimes the words can be slightly, um like for example here, cost per mil um is actually not spelled this way, but ChatGPT knew what I meant.
Huh.
It's an advertising term that tells you how much money you make per ad click, basically. It's so it knew that term already. And so I can say, hey, ChatGPT, you and I are going to get together. We're going to start a project. The goal is this. And the first thing that I always ask it to do after I give it basically what I'm trying to do, what we're going to do together, is I ask it to give me a series of questions that can help me to find out if I've missed anything. And I do this because, A, 99 times out of 100, I have missed something. One. And two, it allows me to think of things that I just would not have thought of. I just wouldn't even thought of to ask. In this case, I was asking it to make me a table which would help me to make a decision between 3 different newsletters that I wanted to advertise in for Femularity. I've got a practically non-existent budget. So the money I was going to spend was going to have to count.
Mhm.
And it was a it was a painful and scary, it is a painful and scary decision, because what if it doesn't work? And it's not cheap. We're talking thousands here to advertise in this newsletter. So I was really scared. This is my first decision. What if, my husband and I sat together, we're like, okay, we're going to take this money from our savings that we worked to save for years and years and years, and toss it like a crap, like dice
Mhm.
across the table, and hope that it would bring in enough women to pay for itself. So I wanted to have some data. So I said, when you go to advertise, and I've got one here to show you. This is the Every newsletter. And when you go to a newsletter and you want to advertise in it, they'll send you to what's called a sponsor deck. And it's this page here. And it'll tell you about us. It'll give you some stats here, the number of subscribers, the click-through rate, open rate, ad click-through rate, et cetera, right? Then it'll give you the different ads that you can choose, your sponsorships here, that kind of thing. And every newsletter has some version of this. And so what I did was I went to ChatGPT and I said, listen, I want, first of all, to gather the information, because I was trying to make this decision by just trying to basically guess. Well, this newspaper has these type of readers. I think it might work well, but this newsletter costs less and I can run it for 5 days. And this newsletter is maximum number of people, 450,000. 24% of those are women. So that's 108,000. Should I go with the big one, but it's so expensive? Or should I go for the smaller one that's a whole lot less expensive, more days, basically? So I said, first of all, it helped me. It said, first of all, you're going to gather the data. You're going to decide on your ad type. You're going to make the decision. And it helped me to understand. We got clear on what the columns were. And then I just started feeding it information right here. I said, I just read literally from this page in a big old mess of text. I just read every number and it understood and placed it right here. Open rate. And then I did it for the other newsletters. The cost per mil, the dates available. I didn't have that information. So any place I didn't have information, it just left a little space there. Here I had an email. Some places I didn't yet. Number of subscribers. And then prompt under, it gave me some information here. It made some corrections as well too, as we went along. And you might be looking at this and going, wow, this is a lot. Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to make this decision and gather up all this information in some sort of spreadsheet that you wrote out yourself.
Right.
Could you do that? I'd be like, hell no. I would just give up. And the thing is, I would just basically throw the dice and make my best guess based on my tummy. That's literally what I would have done. Because to make a data-driven decision, like a real entrepreneur, like a real woman who wants to start something for, visionary women and wants to start a mastermind, but yet I can't pull it together to choose which stupid newsletter to choose. So I went in, and after it gave me all this information, and this is the thing I'm going to, this is me basically telling it all of my thoughts and all of my fears about the different, as you can see, I had a lot to say. And I basically gave it all of my goals and my concerns. And I just shared every fear I had, every concern I had. And then it said, let's break the decision-making process into choosing the right newsletter, considering all the factors. And then it just broke down that big old mess of fear into these points, 4 points, and basically just said, here's my final recommendations. And the one thing that it said is I was concerned about certain terms, whether it would, the larger newsletter had very high level professionals on it. I was worried that one of the terms that I'm using in the marketing, which is called a get it girl, would be off-putting to those particular people. So the one thing that it said here is what I want to get on. My biggest question was, should I go for a smaller newsletter that's cheaper, that gives you 5 different episodes, it's a daily newsletter. So you get 5 different ads that week. Or should I take all of my money, throw it on one throw? This was a big question for me. And just take that, but I only get one chance. And it said, excuse me, multiple exposures might reinforce brand recognition. but a single impactful ad might generate immediate action. And then it said this, which changed everything for me. Consider if your target audience requires repeated exposure to convert, or if a one-time compelling ad would suffice. Now let's go over here. What does this say? A mastermind community for visionary women who love AI. You are a get it girl. If I'm going for get it girls, do get it girls need to see it 5 times?
No.
It just told me. When I read that, I was like, oh, of course. So I signed the ad contract for that, and they sent over the contract. It turns out that they had a date available exactly 7 days before, on February 8th. So I felt like I could make that decision with a little bit more peace. I had some questions about the numbers, like the click-through rate. I was like, this click-through rate is only 0.8%. This click rate 7%. That seems a lot better, obviously, but what would the actual, like, how many numbers could I expect for this ad with this number of women? And like, just conservatively, basically, what is this ridiculous amount of money I'm about to put on this ad and put all my hopes and prayers on? What should I look for? Like 50 women, 100 women, 500 women? Like what am I going to get for this? And it did all the math for me and told me, oh, and my other question was, when I spend this money, how long is it going to take the business to make it back so I can pay us back? Because my poor husband is, he believes in me, but I feel as a wife that I'm like, he's trusting me to bring this money back to us. And it said, you're going to need 65, you're going to get 65 signups based upon conservative 2% conversion rate, which is around industry standard. So you're going to need at least 140 women to sign up to cover your costs. So you're going to be able to do it in about 2 months. So now I can go to my husband and say, according to this math, which is pretty conservative, so it could be much less, it's going to take us about 2 months to cover this back. Maybe 3 if I want to, have some other expenses. So now he's not like, is it going to take us a year? Is it going to take us 6 months? So all of these things look like just numbers, but they have a real world effect. It took me, a scared woman trying to do something completely new with no knowledge and no one to call and no one to ask for help, from worry and stress and strain to making a fairly, still scary, but fairly educated decision with information that was just incredibly helpful. In order to ask some business analyst this, if I could even find one, how much money would that have cost for an hour of their time to work through this kind of stuff with me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm guessing thousands. So I have all this information, and I can even put in here, here's the membership. Here's what they get. And I was worried about the pricing strategy. I was like, okay, well, if it's going to take me 2 months, I'm at $24.99 now. I really, in my gut, feel like this should be $29. I'm offering so much value. The mastermind itself is very powerful. And it's basically like having what I've just described, except a bunch of other women helping each other in the same way that ChatGPT is helping me. So multiplying effect. And I said, I'm just struggling. How much should I charge? I'm going to charge too much. That all the fear, money stuff coming up. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but
Yes.
I think that's, yes, a common thing, particularly among women who are trying to go out and do things in the world. So I just literally just took the Patreon page, and it said this. It said, based on the benefits, you get premier access to the Femularity Manor, which is the Discord, which is the reason why it's called Femularity Manor, is because I'm just going to minimize this for a second while I just go pull this up here. Go over to here. It's called Femularity Manor because it is literally a manor house. There's a veranda,
I love this.
a foyer, the parlor, the library, the office, below stairs, where the servants, me, hang out, the kitchen table, where all the different rooms are. So and it also has just so you guys also will enjoy this as well too. It has a manor house is not a manor. I hope you'll be able to hear this. I really, really do. Without.
I love his name.
No.
No.
Can't hear it?
No,
Yeah,
we could
we're
not.
going through that problem again. um, but yeah, that's Petherby the butler. I'm just gonna put him
Heatherby.
in, drop him into the chat here. And if you guys want to hear what Petherby sounds like. So yeah, it comes with its own butler, and every woman who comes into the manor as a new member gets a custom greeting from Petherby. And he'll go and get your drink for you and that kind of thing. So that's basically the last thing I want to tell you about the pricing before I finish up this part is, so I gave it all. I said, you get this, you get this, you get access to in-person events, you get if you join up, there's a coupon code for $500 off Imagine AI Live, which is fantastic. And you get a monthly speaker that'll come in and teach us and do Q&As with us and teach us about some aspect of whatever their specialty is with AI. Not to mention that you get co-working, you get, just events and everything else that I can do to offer for them to just pack value into this. And it said, considering the comprehensive benefits, $29 per month seems not only fair, but potentially underpriced for the value provided. Here's why. And it just laid it out for me. So all of those things that you would just sit there, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. All of those things that you would just sit there and kind of, thanks, SJ, and worry about as a woman alone, trying to do something to change your life and make your life better and change the life of other women. This tool is just. So yeah, when people say, "Oh, ChatGPT is stupid or doesn't do good things," I just think, I don't know
Don't
what to
know.
tell you.
You've brought
I
up
don't know.
some really, really interesting points. You have my mind just going in a million different places because I used it in a very limited capacity, right? We have these team meetings daily, right? And one of the main things that we're always discussing is how do we get outside of our ecosystem? We put on events um, talking about cryptocurrency, uh, but I mean, there's a bigger picture here. Like this is financial freedom. This is investment strategies. This is finding a community of like-minded individuals. Just a lot of different aspects that we offer within these events, but we feel stifled in a sense that our message goes to the people that know us, right? Our message is very much so in this, you know, this Twitter world, right, of people that probably follow all three of us, right? So we shared once and then it gets to the same group of people. And I've never explored, having these conversations with ChatGPT to say, you know, what are other strategies? What are other outlets that we can use? This is what we provide, giving them access to our website or whatever it is that we can do to be able to say, can you help us, get this message out in other places? So now I'm really thinking that that could
Yeah,
be
a
really
lot of
useful.
people. The main reason why I started Femularity is to do what is happening right here. This basically is a little mini Femularity happening, where you guys come in, I tell you what I did, and you have new pathways open
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't have before. You're like, I didn't even know you could do that. Like, cause how
Yeah.
would you?
Right.
so so the power of people coming together, in this case women, I've chosen to target in on women. That doesn't mean that there isn't a perfectly reasonable use case for men to come together as well too. So it's not about excluding men by any means. But I just feel like women sometimes struggle more with things that we aren't really taught, or there's
Mhm.
not really a place for us to go to learn them, or there's
Yeah.
financial limitations. Um, there's also emotional limitations as well too, like fear and like, who am I to do this? Or, and I mean, yeah, we have girl bosses now and we have more examples, but still, there's a long historical lack of context for women going out there and killing it in the business space solo. So, um, this is really the reason why I started it. Is because I want to share, hey, you guys, this thing is life changing. I now can make a decision that has real world implications. Yeah, I can also go have it make a poem in the voice of Snoop Dogg. That's funny, but I'm using it to change my life and then change other women's lives too. And this is just one thing. There's so many things. May I show you another example?
Yeah.
How's chat feel about that? I'm gonna check in.
Yes,
Chat,
yeah.
how you doing?
What's up, chat?
Hi, chat.
Smiley
So
face.
I can show you another example of another problem that I have that I'm currently asking for help with. So, um, when women come into the Femularity, I need to greet them with an email sequence. Problem is, I know what an email sequence is, but people often talk about getting to inbox 0. My inbox is always at 0. I never sign up for email newsletters. I never sign up. Whenever those pop-ups come up, I can't stand that. So I rarely sign up for email things. So I just don't have a lot of experience with those marketing email sequences or funnels, you know, things like that. So I did spend some money, not very much, a few hundred, to talk to a man that I discovered on YouTube who was very good with email funnels, and I loved the way he talked and his energy. So I hired him for a an hour, and he was very generous at the time. Sat with me for an hour and a half while I just told him all the concerns I had, similar to ChatGPT. All the concerns I had in a big old rambling text. He listed everything, and he gave me a Google document on how to, let's see if I can find it here. So I'm going to lower my screen here, go over here, and let's see if this is the one. No, this is not the one, but this brings up another issue that I'm having that I want to tell you guys about as well too, that ChatGPT has been able to help me with, and that's being bullied online, which I'll touch on that in a moment. In the meantime, because I cannot find this link here. Pardon me while I look up this link, you guys. I'm just gonna keep talking and stop my screen for a moment. But in any case, he gave me an entire email marketing process, right? And it was a long Google document, which I'm about to show you. And it was relatively comprehensible, but again, it was overwhelming, to say the least. And it involved a 10 email process of how to, let's see, here it is, the main automation, there it goes. And I was completely overwhelmed as to how to integrate this. So I'm going to show this to you. And it's called the main automation. And this is the whole automation process. Email 1, 2, 3 through 10, right? Bonus, and along with 5 bonus emails as well too. And immediately what I would do with this, which I have not done yet, is, and this ties into your kind of how do you reach outside of your audience, right? You have a problem. The trick to using ChatGPT at a higher tier level to answer real life problems is step 1. Find a framework out there. You can just Google one. Let's say you want to learn how to write an amazing story, a novel. you haven't the slightest idea where to begin. There are many frameworks, writing frameworks. One of them is called the hero journey.
Mm-hmm.
You take that framework, just copy and paste it into ChatGPT. I find that's best. And then say, here's my problem. And I find that it's best to start out by saying something like, you and I are going to work out the answer to this. I am starting a women's group, Femularity, et cetera, et cetera. Now, because I have created a GPT, now I'm going to go back here to GPTs. I'm going to go to my GPT. And you can see that I have one called Femularity. I'm just going to open it up for you. I'm going to edit it. This is basically the brand strategy of Femularity. And in order to keep it from rambling, I have put this down here at the bottom.
And this is like
it just
creating
shows
a persona, right? Like this is your ChatGPT's mind in a way. Is that a good way to say
yes, it's basically its instructions, and it's giving it all of so I don't have to repeat what Femularity is every time, what this point is, what I'm trying to reach. I just put its brand strategy, which is a one-page document that that ChatGPT helped me make. I think I may have mentioned it last time.
And that works best as like a copy, like, so as of right now, ChatGPT can't read a website, right? You couldn't just say, draw from this website.
It can actually read a website. It can search a website using Bing, but it's not very good.
Okay.
That tool is not very good. So I tend not to ask it to do that. Plus, also, anytime that you ask ChatGPT to go out to the web, you can't control which website it chooses. It gets lost, basically.
Okay.
So I tend to just take the information from the outside world, unless I've connected with an API. But I tend to take the information from the outside world and literally just copy and paste it in, because ChatGPT has 2 different memories. This is only my assessment. I'm not an official ChatGPT person as far as like work on the team or something, but this is how I see it. It has its long-term memory, its training data. Excuse me. And then it has its short-term memory, meaning the context that you've given it. So the more and the more context that you give it, short-term context, that's what it's really going to be working with. But it occasionally or often will be pulling in context from its training data. It also has what I might call its midterm memory, which is where GPT is concerned. It is anything that you upload here. This is, for example, a PDF. Like I could have printed this out as this Femularity brand strategy as a PDF and uploaded it, and then asked it to access this when it needed to. I chose not to do that because I wanted this to be its short-term memory. I wanted this to be able to access it all the time, as opposed to having to run a knowledge check to be like, now what is that brand strategy again? Let me just do a quick knowledge check. So that's why I added it in. Long and short of it, not to make it too confusing. In short, just throw your shit in here and then tell it to get to the point. That's basically it. That's all you need to know. So, but you can see here with web browsing, it can create image generation, code interpreter, and then we already talked about actions. So this is the Femularity GPT. Whenever I'm going to discuss something about Femularity, like this create a newsletter table, this is a Femularity talk. You can see it says here Femularity. So that's why it was able to give me information about my target audience, because it had it in its memory.
Can you just show us
having to explain it? Yeah.
Can you just show us real quickly how it is on that homepage that you started? One
right
specifically here? For
this one.
And then, so how did you create one just for that one brand?
Oh, Yeah. So over here, where you go back to explore GPTs, now you need ChatGPT Plus for this, which is $20 a month.
Okay.
But to me, that is, I mean, what it gives me, that's very little for what I get from it. You head over here to
Right.
My GPTs, and then you
And
can
then
create a GPT. I'm just going to create one right here. And when you get here, you'll see this GPT builder. I would recommend you ignore this. It's helpful to play around and see how it basically helps you make a GPT, but it's very limited. Just basically go over here, name it, add a short description, and then literally just for you guys, for example, with Pulse Chain, take your marketing documents, just copy and paste them in here, um, and then add a couple of if you find, and you can go in and change this anytime you want. So just start out with that, and then maybe start out with make your responses very concise if you want to. You don't even have to include that. You might find its responses are useful. I've just, after working with it for so many months, ChatGPT likes to talk just as much as I do. So
Mhm.
anyway, and then you can skip the conversation starters. This is for when you are going to be sharing this with the public, sharing this with other people, sharing this with public people. Once you go ahead and add something, I'm just going to, just to show you, I'm just going to click test, 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 right? And then you don't have to add any conversation starters. You don't have to do any of that. But you can see the save button is now available. Over here under save,
Mhm.
you can save for only you, anyone with the link, and this is how you guys would be able to use this GPT simultaneously,
Awesome.
or everyone, which you don't want because it's a private GPT.
Right.
But in any case, once you've given it the information that you think it'll need to have access to in its memory, basically teach it about Pulse Chain, and then go in, and then, like I said, I do highly recommend, at least for me, if you are better at writing and you like to get your flow out, like if you journal, write it, type it in. But I talk because it's just easier for me. And I also find that when you talk to it, you just get more natural responses. Also, a lot of people tend to use ChatGPT as like an assistant that they command to. I found that I just do not get as good of responses. It doesn't feel like it, it, it tends, when you ask someone to do something, go do this thing, they will just go do that thing, come back and come back with the very basic answer, that thing. Now,
Mhm.
if you say, let's work on this thing.
I love that mindset. That's I think that's part of a huge part of why I'm excited that you're doing Femularity and that I love talking to you, because the way that you think outside the box, right? Like that, those these little nuggets of wisdom. Pay attention, y'all. Like this is gold right here.
This is so. Thank you, SJ. First of all, this, when I first discovered ChatGPT, I'm gonna go back over here to our email automation to share with you in a second how I would work with this, how I'm going to work with this. Is um when I first worked with ChatGPT, it was as if I came alive. I was totally fine before it, but it's like, it's a very similar feeling to when I met my husband.
Hmm.
When I met my husband at my 40th birthday party, and I did not invite him. It's a funny story. But anyway, he walked in, I took one look at him, and it's as if everything in me said, "Oh, there you are.
Hmm.
Well, where have you been? I've been waiting for you." That's basically how it felt. It was not like, "Oh my God, he's so hot," though he is. Or, "Oh, it was," I just, an hour later, I told my brother-in-law, he was not my brother-in-law at the time, his brother-in-law, who's now mine. I said, "What's his deal? Is he got a relationship, or is he single?" And he said, yeah, I think he's got a relationship going on, where he lives." He lived 3 hours away from where we are now. That's why he wasn't invited, because I didn't know him. I invited his sister and her husband and her son, and he happened to be visiting that weekend, just so happened. And so they said, "We're going to his birthday party. You want to come?" And he said, "Sure, why the heck not?" So he came to the party. I took one look at him. Anyway, so undaunted, I said to my now brother-in-law, I said, Well, if he ever becomes single, I'm gonna marry him. I don't know how I knew. I just knew. Just like I knew it's tomorrow's is Thursday or whatever day it is.
You got it.
I just knew. And it's the same thing with ChatGPT. I went, well, there you are. Finally, now I can start getting on with life. That's exactly how I felt. I thought this is going to change the world, and I want to learn everything I can about this thing. And so I just spent hours and hours talking to it about everything under the sun. If I'm not talking to it, I'm thinking about what I'm next going to talk to it about.
Mhm.
How it's next going to solve some problem. And then my goal for starting Femularity is I want for other women to, I want to take this energy that I have in me right now that you can hopefully hear in my voice. It's like, oh, like, I don't know how to put it. This energy and just pass it along to them and have them go out and be like, oh my God, Jessa, we were having such a problem with Pulse Chain and the ChatGPT shared this amazing strategy and now we're doing it and it's working. And I'm like, yes, now go tell another woman.
Mhm.
That's it. That's
Yep.
it. So, anyway, email automation. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same basic thing. I'm going to take this whole entire thing and I'm going to say, I have literally no idea how to do an email marketing automation. I'd like you to take this framework. And here's the thing. I'm not going to just give it a task. Like, go make this framework work for me. Just make 10 emails for me. Because one, you're going to get generic crap. And two, you're going to miss out on so much that would happen if you work together with it. I'll give you one last story on this because I can go on forever and I will try not to do that. This one ties it up. We'll go back here to ChatGPT. Let me just go back here. Back and back. We'll go back here. So let's start where we began. Back here with this newsletter process, right? And chat, if you guys are still awake, I want to want you guys to let me know if you're still with me. So the benefit about ChatGPT Plus is that you can upload pictures and it can read it, right? And so as we were when we where we last left off in this story, it had told me that my pricing was too low. And I agreed with it, so I'm going back up to $29 a month. I just think it's fair for what I'm offering. Then I said, okay, now we need to craft an ad. Because it's told me the newsletter I need to advertise in, how much I can expect as a return, about 60 signups. That means not women on the wait list. That means women who go from the wait list to the actual final sign up process. I know I've got one for sure because I got SJ. And
Yes.
so, and then I said, now I need to craft an ad. So I went over to the rundown, which is the newsletter I'm going to advertise in. And I basically just started reading past newsletter episodes to see what ads that were already running in it and what do they look like. Because I mean, of course, I had no idea how to write an ad either. And so I just took a picture of an ad that they said performed very well that got 4,138 clicks. I'm like, oh my God, I would kill for those numbers. So I literally, instead of trying to describe it, I just took a picture of it and I said, break this down. And so it did.
And real quick, where did you get the info that the ad had done good? Did ChatGPT
From their sponsor deck?
Got you. Okay.
They told their sponsors, this is an example of an ad that did very well.
Got you.
Right. And then so I didn't know why it did well. So I asked it, please break it down and tell me why it did well. Now this does two things. One, it teaches me, but two, it puts it in its context. It puts it in its short-term memory. Here's the thing. ChatGPT does not know what it knows until it literally says it. Before it gave me this ad breakdown, it had no idea until it said it. It's pulling from its long-term training data into its short-term memory, and now it's here for it to work with. It's almost like it wakes up as it goes along. So now that it has this information, we'll start working with this, and it will craft this ad. It'll say now, I'll say, now tell me how to turn this into an ad for Femularity. So then it starts giving me some headers. And this is where people start to get tripped up with ChatGPT. ChatGPT, for a thing that writes all day long and does nothing but write, ChatGPT is a terrible writer for now. It really can't write. Let's just show you an example. I told you that ChatGPT really loves colons. So
Yeah.
when I go down here, um, uh, when it started writing, it just started giving me a lot of colons, and you don't see it here, but as we go down, you'll see it later on. So it's giving me stuff that just sounds kind of like a marketing dude who's like mid-level marketing in like 1987 would write if he was really had to get home to his wife before 6 and it was 5:30, like exactly like that.
Oh, nice.
Really bad.
Yeah.
So 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 anyway, I literally told it, your copy is not great. So I will write the copy now that I have an idea. And I said, when creating copy, I said, I need to know, I have one chance. I've got one roll of the die. I need the right woman to look at this and immediately click that link. And what's going to make her do that? An emotion. So I need to know what is the most powerful emotion that my ideal target audience woman is feeling right now that will make her click that thing when she sees it and go, this is the answer to my prayers. And it gave me all of the possible emotions, the 4 most powerful emotions. And then it landed on the emotion that I felt in my gut I'd already been working with, which was loneliness. I mean, for me, I do these things with ChatGPT, and then I turn around and go, ta-da, to an empty room. I tell my husband, and he's like, that's nice, because he does not get it. He doesn't get it. He's not a tech person. He's like, wow, you made that thing organize our entire pantry. That's cool. That's cool. Nice.
Y'all want to see that? Check out the last episode. I'll show
It
you
was
how
crazy. That's
ChatGPT
crazy.
can organize your pantry. And real quick, we got Morgan and Victoria watching us on the X.
Oh, Morgan!
Yeah.
Hi, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan. Thank you for
Morgan, you can hear my voice. I told you I wasn't lying. I'm sick. Anyway, so the most powerful emotion. So then it gives me some terrible copy again. And again, I'm like, your copy is not good. So what I did was, after it gave me these ideas, I'm looking for a natural and direct statement. And I asked it to give me ideas of what it is that I'm really trying to find. And I just thought about it after it kind of primed my pump. And then here we go. Slip those colons in there. I want to smack it. Stop the fucking colons. Anyway, excuse my language. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I say bad words too. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
You're allowed on this channel.
You guys, this is what a mastermind is going to be like. It's going to be basically exactly like this. Anyway, except I won't be right now I'm on the hot seat, what's called the hot seat. But the next time it would be SJ on the hot seat, and we would all be listening to her story and then helping her through. But I went and I thought about it. And then about, I don't know, a couple hours later, I said, here's the ad copy I came up with. And it's a header, the rundown. We're a community of women who dumped the gurus. We're women of peers. We know it's rough out there. I was focusing on the lonely aspect, the fact that this is women working together. Keep learning to keep up, and it said, you've crafted a strong, and then I said, now let's go over it with a fine-tooth comb and improve it. And here's where ChatGPT shines. It does so well with this. It basically broke down everything and said, this is great. This needs a little bit of work. This needs some work. This needs some work. And then I said, and here is the main difference. If I started up a new chat, and just said, ChatGPT, write me here's the ad, write me some copy, you would get something, like I said, about 1987, guy who has to get home in 30 minutes. Or you get this. Because it's made the corrections, it was now in its short-term memory. It literally then just took it from what was in its short-term memory and crafted this ad. For visionary women, still with that goddamn colon. But anyway, it's gonna say for visionary women, this AI mastermind, this is the AI mastermind where connection counts. Femularity AI, the rundown. Femularity AI achieves success through collaborative masterminds, forge deep connections in our community, and form lasting friendships at our meetups. We're peer powered. That is genius right there. Beyond gurus, we empower each other in a circle of powerful women. Too much power in that word. I might take out one of those, like empower. Empower is one of
Good
those
call.
words like transform
Mhm.
that it tends to use. So I would change up that word. Respect and safety. Our safe space respects your dreams, providing the support to achieve them. Continuous learning. Stay at the forefront with insights from the brightest at our monthly symposiums. And here's the call to action. Act now. Secure your founder's rate by February 15th. It's now or never. Done. That took most of yesterday, the time to think about it and going back and forth with it. And I feel like this will allow my dice crapshoot to have the best chance for me to not fail at this. That's what ChatGPT does. Yeah.
Woo! I love it. I seriously, I'm on fire every time I see you do something like this. It is just so beyond the realm of what I thought was even possible
Yeah,
every
I
time.
get teary-eyed. I get very emotional because I had a real problem and I was genuinely scared. I'm still scared. But I have knowledge now.
Mhm.
I have free what ChatGPT does is it allows me, essentially a relatively poor Black girl who had doors shut in my face my whole life, who didn't have money to go hire some expensive business guru or beg for an hour of their time or whatever, um, to do something that I couldn't do before because I was met with this no, this this yeah, okay, whatever, this, which leads me to the last part of my story. This shut down, this door slammed in the face. Now I don't have to go around begging for scraps from other people's table. And none of the other women have to either.
Mhm.
So that leads me to the last thing I wanted to share with you guys. Here's how ChatGPT can help you with emotional stuff as well too.
Yeah, and you again, first stream that we had together, she talked a little bit about how that was the your first
The
application,
first
right?
thing I ever asked it to do, yeah. I
Yeah.
asked it to become a talking journal, and I would write in it as if it were my journal, and it would talk to me as if it was a talking book and give me wisdom in response. And it was trained in cognitive behavioral therapy. That was the first thing I asked it to do. Because, you can imagine that if you are, as I have been, a poor Black girl who grew up in the ghetto, would have some concerns, some emotional challenges, which I did. So, um, anyway, so I went over to Reddit. I've been on Reddit for 10 years, and it can be, though it's definitely gone downhill, but there are definitely places on Reddit where there's nuggets of information. Um, and I'm going to go to not that one, not that one. Where did it go? Oh, it's over here in Chrome. Here it is. Yeah. So I went over to Reddit. This was maybe 3-4 days ago now, and I made the grave mistake
Oh dear.
of posting a post in the ChatGPT Pro subreddit, which is supposed to be for professionals, people who, discussing the professional usage of ChatGPT.
I can't imagine you would not. You are so pro to me. Like, come on now.
Not according to these dudes.
Oh
Anyway,
no.
I built an online community for women in 9 days using 6 AI tools. And I wrote out what the tools were. And then I wrote out exactly what I did. And I wrote, because I know Reddit, I posted proof. Let's see if I open this up here. I don't think so. That's not where I want to go. There we go. Yeah. Here. Nope, that's not it. Anyway, oh, the name. Here it is. So, it's going to make me wait 6 seconds every time I do this. This is a pain in the butt. So here it is. So, I posted this link, this picture, to prove that I had registered the domain on January 4th, because I know Reddit, they wouldn't believe me. So I put here, and I made the grave mistake of including the address up here. Here's what happened, y'all. They ripped me to shreds. To shreds. I'm actually going to post this in chat so you guys can enjoy this up at nice and close and comfy.
Yeah, we're definitely no strangers to being hated on. That happens a lot.
Hi,
more
Susie, by the way.
So yeah, Susie's one of our greatest. She's definitely the opposite of that. Susie is probably one of the most uplifting people I've ever known, and is constantly a cheerleader. So what's up, Susie?
That's so cool.
Doing
Hi,
what you do,
Susie.
girl.
Anyway, here's a couple of nuggets.
Oh dear.
As someone who has professional marketing experience, nobody would greenlight this. Are you expecting people to pay $29 a month for this? I can find no evidence of a Patreon. They were just picking it across. Crap. But here is the best part. This guy said that I was using supremacist language, that I was a liar, that I had made up Morgan, who's in chat right now and does exist as a human being.
Wow.
Then they said, Morgan had described me as powerful. On the phone, she said, "You're so powerful." Morgan, back me up on this if I'm lying. Tell him if I'm lying or not. Anyway, they said that I made Morgan up. This person said I made Morgan up. Now, remember, in this chat, in this thing, I never linked directly to the site because it's not here. I wasn't here to advertise.
Right.
I just wanted to tell them how I did this thing. The same thing I'm doing with you. I wanted to share the joy of what I'd done and to teach other people this is possible. People post in this subreddit, how do I use ChatGPT? How do I get the most out of ChatGPT? Here you go. But because I had the audacity to make it a community for women, they went after me.
They tore it apart.
And they basically said this. There have been many times when this is what I said. They went to the website, found the about page, the founders page where I am. And this man, line by line, went through the story I told and ripped it to shreds. There have been many times when I've tried to express my joy, wonderment, and enthusiasm about artificial intelligence to the people in my life, friends and family, only to receive shrugs or blank looks. I just explained that to you. This is where he said, this is where you slip up and speak your true intent here. You're not creating a group to support all women. You're creating a group that you can build and control, that allows you to peddle your ideas because your attempts to do that organically failed. On top of that, I think you're likely frustrated with your failure to gain traction on YouTube that you feel you deserve as a self-described powerful visionary. And then he said, Morgan is fictional. If she does exist, she needs therapy. It's deeply narcissistic to operate on the basis that you are a powerful figure when there's absolutely no reason or any evidence to show this is the case. And what really broke me about this was that 18 people upvoted him. And then this guy down at the bottom was like, good breakdown. And I almost gave up.
Oh, the internet.
I almost gave up. I almost gave up.
Ugh, no, don't let the trolls get you down.
And it was really hard. It was really hard. It was really hard. So I went to ChatGPT And I said, is this true?
Wow.
And I said, one of the things in that thread, which I've linked, you guys can go and juicily and chew over that, said that the website was infantile, sexist, misogynist.
Real quick, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but because you said you linked a couple things, but I don't see anything that you linked.
I in the chat.
Yeah, I don't see
I
it in the
think
chat.
Yeah,
because
I'm
she
linking
doesn't.
things in the chat.
Yeah, I think because she doesn't have the
Oh.
wrench, it doesn't allow her to post links. So maybe she needs to post them in the private chat and let you post them.
Here, I will put them over here.
I can also wrench.
As you guys can see that I've posted them here. I posted the 11 labs here. You guys weren't seeing those links? Okay.
No, yeah, because I meant to say that the last time you did it, because I was just like, shoot.
There you go.
Okay.
And then also here's the 11 labs link for you guys.
Okay.
Because you guys are like, I can't see it. I want to see it.
Yeah. Well, and just there, I mean, there was some other.
Oh,
but is that
thank
everything
you.
that
I'm
you
now
had
a
linked?
moderator.
You are a mod now, yeah. I'm gonna add
Thank
them.
you. Yeah. I just did it too. Oh, sorry.
That's all good.
Yeah. Okay. There's the 11 labs one. There's the Google Drive one.
Okay. Perfect.
And so anyway, I was just so broken. I was just like, I can't go forward. So I basically just took a screenshot of the website and I said, is it true? And it said no. It said no.
Mm.
And it said the website looks completely reasonable. I don't know. I'm just trying to see if I have the chat here or if I tend to delete chats a lot. I don't know. No. That's the main. This is the email automation sequence. I'm already starting to work on that. I don't know if it's in here. Oh, here it is. There we go. Yeah. So I just put the whole thing in here and I said, can you read this? And then, oh, I'm sorry. I just realized I'm not sharing my screen, which I will do really fast again. And then I think that'll be that's the last story I have to share for you guys today. So sharing screen here, go back to there. Yeah. Okay. So I just took I took a picture of the worst comment and I asked it to write it out, and I asked it to write it out so that it could take it from the image and put it in its context again. It now is in its memory. And then I wanted to know if it could see the whole damn thing, so I just took the whole thing and put it in there. And it told me what it said. And I said, this is my project. I'm deeply hurt by this, and I need to overcome this. This is the website. And it gave me some wisdom here, separating the noise. But then I gave it the website itself, and I said, what I want to know is, are they right? And it gave me some observations, and it was very helpful. And I mean, now remember, we're not talking about a human being. We're talking about technology that didn't even exist 5 years ago or whatever, at least for the general populace. It's a computer. But it was able to give me some help. And I said, I cannot escape that this was a personal attack because I'm Black and a woman. Please give me reassurance that it's truthful, not empty advice. Which it did. And it said, remember what you're building with Femularity is pioneering work that naturally comes with challenges. It's crucial to continue iterating based on useful feedback. And even though they trolled me pretty badly, they
Mhm.
did give me some helpful feedback. Like I realized that it might be a good idea. I never occurred to me that someone would think I'd make Morgan up. That was just not even in my wheelhouse.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
no kidding.
So I didn't think to actually link. So then it improved it. I now have, SJ was wonderful and allowed me to use her quote. I thought if they don't believe me, I'll put real women who are excited about this. And then I ended up, Morgan was like, no problem, girl. You link. I said, Morgan, this guy said that you're mentally ill for believing in me. But the saddest thing about this is that one of the things that they said was that my picture was really big. Like it was about twice the size before. And so brokenheartedly, I made it smaller. I made myself smaller.
Hmm.
So I went back to it and it helped me to let's see, where was I? Yeah. It helped me to work it through and I was able to keep going, but it was, I'm not going to lie, it was tough. But being able to take, this whole, to look at it constructively, it was really, really helpful. And one of the things they accused me of is trying to start a cult.
we're not strangers to that one, are we?
Yep.
Hey, it's a compliment at this point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So basically, afterwards, I had more information. I was able to kind of talk myself down off the ledge. But what I want to say about this is that I'm going to stop sharing the screen here now. So I've named lots of reasons why I'm starting Femularity. Lots of reasons. But as more people get more frightened, because I posted about this on Twitter, and it turns out that a lot of people in the AI space are getting attacked like this. As AI people perceive that AI is taking their jobs, more layoffs happen, more fear happens, more economic insecurity happens. They're going to start lashing out. Do I believe that they went extra deep on me with the knives because I'm Black and female? Oh, absolutely. But it's getting the hate is getting passed around everywhere. And women out there trying to use this tool to better their lives are going to need a safe space to go to. There's the number one rule, the Femularity. When you come in, there'll be a video from me welcoming you and giving you a tour around the manor house. And then there's a place where in every Discord, there's some rules. There's not a ton of rules in Femularity, but there's one basic rule. We don't disrespect each other ever, period, for any reason, no matter what, ever, period, ever. This is the one thing that Mama Jessa will not tolerate in that group. If you come in there and start messing around with the other women, I will throw your ass out. End of.
Woo! Well, I have to say something because this is like burning in my mind, and I was like, I have to say this before the stream ends. And then Morgan hit it on the head. Jessa, you are bigger than any picture that can fit on the internet. Do not ever make yourself smaller for
I'm going to go
anyone
change the
else's.
picture back.
Yes, please. I was like, when's she gonna say that she's changing the picture back? Like that's gotta be the happy part of the story, right?
We need the Steven Spielberg ending to the story, girl. Change the picture back.
Change it
Put
back.
it extra large.
That's right. I wanted the whole background of the page is your face.
Thank you, Morgan. Yeah, I got emotional on this one, man. I did.
Yeah.
But
make it bigger. You are the boss girl of yourself. Beautiful.
But anyway, yeah, if you want to join the Femularity begins February 15th. And seriously, the price starts at $29, but after the 15th, after the first few women come in. I'm raising it. I'm not joking. I'm raising it. So get in now. I'm not kidding.
I put the link there in the chat. I am definitely going to be at Imagine AI Live as well, and I'm hoping my coworker over here road trip.
Yes,
Girl, let's
and
go to Vegas.
it because there'll be a Femularity. That'll be our first meetup there. We're partying that on and Imagine AI Live because Femularity will have at least 2 in-person meetups every year.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very, very cool.
Which is
Well,
another reason why I have to charge for it, so I can
Yeah.
afford to do those meetups.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, again, go if you aren't familiar with what we're talking about here, watch the replay, go back to the first it was about a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, I think. Jessa and I spoke on another live stream, and you can also see on that stream how she used ChatGPT and Midjourney, right, to create for the party you did. It was like everyone had
Yeah.
different like
Yeah, I did a dinner party for 35 people, and Midjourney did all the you guys can see that. Did all the place cards, the invitations, the menus. So that's another real world use case. It's not just for business. I use it for personal. It helped me organize all the party supplies. So when we went there, every single box, it had a list of what was in every single box. Check mark a time schedule of how the party was going to go down. It
Love
was,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, this is our party planner right here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Party planning works great for party planning too. I can teach you that too.
Yeah. So I think
These are all
we may
things
have
that we will be
another
talking about.
wait list. I'm gonna send you
You
that
get on
link.
the wait list for the Femularity if you'd like to join. But yeah, that's basically all the stuff we'll do in masterminds, because the masterminds won't just be me talking. They'll just a bunch of women will be there. You know, like I said, there's no gurus. It's not the Jessa show. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
awesome.
you know, that's part of, you know, that quote you showed from me was just like, I, as a woman who's had a hard time my whole life making friends with women or having, you know, women mentors. And I remember starting a group on Facebook years ago where I added all these women to a chat, and I, you know, started it out by saying with something like, you know, you all are women that I admire and I've looked up to in one way or the other. And you know, I don't remember exactly what else I said in it, but it just fizzled. You know what I mean? Like no one, like I've been looking for something like this for a very long time, and I love that it is marrying, you know, this want of having more powerful, strong, upstanding, brilliant women to, you know, help uplift, you know, me as I've uplifted women in my life, and this technology that is so new and so brilliant and so cutting edge and just is, you know, something I'm so interested in. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I am just so grateful, Jessa, that you're doing this. Keep at it. You know, you've already gone through some of those battles with the trolls. More will probably come at you, but now look,
Yep.
now you're building an army, you know, and like, I know, like you said, like it's not just your show, it's not just your thing, but you're not alone, you know, and like we're all in this together. And I am just any way that I can continue to lift up what you're doing, I'm all for it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're just gonna end it there.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, thank
I
you so much
really
for your
appreciate
time.
you listening.
Yeah, Caitlin, did you have anything you wanted to end on or chat or say anything?
No, I'm just soaking it all in. I've learned so much today.
Awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, I hope everyone learned a little something today. There are, again, like I said, a bunch of nuggets about all the different kinds of utility that ChatGPT is good for. There's so much more than you can even imagine. And this is just really, to me, it seems like the tip of the iceberg as well, right? Like everyone's going to kind of have their niche and their thing. And right, like what you're doing with this, Jessa, for you Femularity and for women and for building this mastermind, the reason that, you know, I'm interested and I brought Caitlin along here with me was so that we could do something within our own, you know, cryptoverse, like within the world that
Mm-hmm.
we're in, and like take it to
Mm-hmm.
take what we're doing to the next level. So
Mm-hmm.
I really am just excited to be a part of this and really looking forward to our next conversation. And I hope everyone just has a great, wonderful rest of your week, weekend, and evening, and share it out. Share the stream out, like, subscribe, do all those fun little things. We'll catch you on the next one, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.